Good afternoon, everything. To our viewers, our listeners, welcome. Welcome to the very first episode of Lens on Real Estate. And I'm Diann Scott. I'm your host, and my co-host is sitting here, and I'll allow her to go ahead and introduce herself to our great audience.
Hi, my name is Angela E., and I am an associate broker. And we're here to talk about real estate and what is happening now in the market. But first, we want to kind of introduce ourselves and tell you who we are and what we're all about.
Okay, and as Angela just said, she's an associate broker. So am I. I'm an associate broker in the real estate industry, have been since the beginning of the year, actually. I've been a real estate agent since 2018. And I hang my license at Scott Realty Professionals in Savannah, Georgia, one of our top real estate brokerages in this area. And one of the things that we want to do here on Lens on Real Estate is talk to you and engage you in the real estate industry.
So just a little bit about me. My name again is Angela E. I've been doing real estate since about 2016, and I also hang my license with Scott Realty. So as we've talked about, why do we want to do this type of podcast? How do we want to inform our people about real estate? So that's why we decided to kind of do this podcast, to kind of get the word out, to see what your questions are that we may answer as we go through this podcast, but also to just give you some information and let you know why it's important. Real estate, why should you own it? Why should you be involved in real estate?
And just to give you a little bit of feedback in terms of the birth of Lens on Real Estate, Our Black Media, which is a media platform. It's a growing media platform. The executive there asked, would we do a program on real estate? Us being in the industry, asked would we do a program on real estate? Because that was not something that they had yet had on the platform. So it was a little bit thought behind it, wondering about it. Never done it before. I don't know about Angie, but I had never done gone into such venture before. But I thought, okay, challenge. I'm not one to shy away from a challenge. So I thought, okay, let's give it a try. And the real estate industry is quite interesting. And as you'll find, hopefully you'll continue to engage with us, watch our programming, see our programming, and you will really see that the real estate industry is quite interesting. It quite varied and very, very interesting.
So as we begin our show, we're always going to try to have some information about, what we're going to be talking about. We're going to try to talk about some key terms. We also are going to have different guest speakers on our show as well, so we can get the information out. And as I said, too, we're going to try to answer some questions that we get from our audience as we move right along.
And as we develop our platform, one of the, or at least our particular part of Our Black Media platform, we, as you indicate in that name, the platform itself, Our Black Media, one of the main purposes is to reach out to our community, mainly our Black community. Reach out to them and let them become more aware of the community. A lot of times people, particularly as an agent, when I get my first time home buyer, they are very, very afraid of the process. They don't know what it's all about. So part of a real estate agent is to, teach and really bring some comfort level to the clients when they're getting into the process, because it's one of their major purchases. And a lot of people say it's the major purchase in your lifetime, one of the major purchases in your lifetime. So it is a big, big step. So we want to make sure that our community is given a lot more knowledge about it, wherein when you come to a real estate agent or reach out to a real estate agent, you're going to have some degree of a comfort level there. But that is, of course, our role is to, of course, we get clients, and our main role is to guide them through that home buying process. So we want to share that process with you throughout our program. So we'll have different elements to the program because it is, you'll see, it is a very varied, a myriad of elements that go into buying a home, that go into the real estate industry, not just a home, but a commercial real estate. So we're going to talk to you about all of it. And we'll have experts because I'll say I am not a real estate expert. I have been in the field, as I indicated to you, for 4 years, but we're still learning. And of course, we will be inviting guests that we would consider our experts or have some great degree of knowledge in the area that we'll be conversing with them about. So sit back. We're coming in with the knowledge and information for you.
So just to reiterate some things that Diann went over, why do you want to have a real estate agent? Why do you want to engage a real estate agent? Because just like she said, it is a major purchase, and a lot of times it is the largest person that a person will make in their lives. But there are a lot of moving parts, and that's what we're here to do. We're trying to demystify, try to take the hesitation out of buying real estate. We are here to answer any questions that our clients have. And we also engage in residential, commercial, investment properties. We handle all those things. We may not know every single aspect of it, but best believe we know how to figure that out. So as your real estate agent or your broker that's helping you get through the process, we're the person that's going to be there for you to run interference, that's going to ask the hard questions, make sure that your deal is negotiated to your favor. I mean, because as you know, when you say, like if you were to go into an open house or something like that, that agent that's sitting on that property or sitting at that property, they are representing the seller. So why do you want to have a buyer's agent? Is because where Diann and I could come in on your behalf is to negotiate what's going to be best for the buyer, as well as the opposite, because we do both sides of those type of deals. If we are representing the seller, we're going to negotiate the deal to the advantage of the seller. But we all try to work together. The real estate industry is somewhat of a small community. A lot of us know each other, and we try to work well for everybody. We try to do the right thing for our clients and give you that level of comfort when moving forward. And best believe me, we've had all kinds of questions. I believe that there is no stupid questions because you don't know what you don't know. And that's why we're here, as well as to make sure that if you have a question, no matter how small it is, that we can either answer that question just right off the bat because we have some level of experience. But if we have to research, then we'll go out there and do that research for you. So that's what we want to bring to you on this podcast, kind of give you an inside look to what happens behind the scenes, as well as try to give you some groundwork from which to go out into the real estate market and make a purchase or ask questions or investment property. If you're a developer, to help you with marketing your property, whatever we may need to do. But there are a lot of moving parts. So we kind of shrink down that process and make it easy, kind of a turnkey as best we can for our clients.
That's right. And Angie said a little earlier, it's a small community, but it is a growing community. Mm-hmm. We have quite a few of agents in the brokerage that we work for. Scott Realty Professionals, as I said, it's one of the leading brokerages in this area. And right now, Scott Realty Professionals probably has 60 plus agents a part of the brokerage. And we want our viewers to know that we have African-American agents, African-American female and male agents out there that can serve our community. And we're going to be presenting some of them to you on our program. At some point you'll get to see and ask questions of them. And as you can see on our screen here, you will be able to present your questions online, and some of them we'll probably be able to answer right here online. So feel free to put your questions or put them to us online, because we certainly want to try to help you out and respond to you in a real time way, because we're going to be coming to you every Monday at 6 p.m. So we're looking to have our viewers, growing network of viewers, check out our program, Lens on Real Estate. And Andrew, we're going to move on, because part of the real estate process, we hear a lot of conversation about building generational wealth. And one element in everything that I've seen, or whenever I read an article about that, one of the main elements to doing that is real estate. And that's also another reason why we wanted to present this to you. One of the main elements of building generational wealth is through the real estate industry. And I had something here that I wanted to share. And I'm going to read just a portion of it. What happened to this family back in 1912? Because a lot of you may have heard the news back in October last year, where the governor of California returned property to this Black family. Their ancestors back during that time, they had beachfront property. It was a resort. It was a Black resort that was developed and for Black people. It was on beachfront, and at that time, that property was taken from them via eminent domain, which we'll probably bring up at some point exactly what that is. But I'm sure a lot of us have heard of it. That is where the government, the city government or ordinance, allows them to take property that they want to use from an owner. And that's what happened to them. But the reason they do this is not based on discrimination. It should not be. And it was learned and really aware at that time that it was solely discrimination, wherein the city decided to take this property from this particular family. And that was the Willis family. And it says Charles and Willa Bruce had turned their location into a seaside resort that welcomed Black beachgoers from all over Los Angeles and became colloquially referred to as Bruce's Beach. And the beach became so popular, it was regularly frequented by the Blacks in the community, and also it encouraged the other Blacks in the community to buy property. The Willises had purchased 2 lots, and it encouraged other Blacks in the community to purchase property. And this did not sit well with the white community. And therein, it was efforts to not only harassment from the Ku Klux Klan, harassment from the whites in the community, but then they eventually encouraged the city and got the city to utilize this eminent domain, which is legal, but utilize this in that way to take their property, which they did. And also the properties of the other Black owners on that beach area was taken. But recently, as I said, the governor of California, they returned this property to the Mr. and Mrs. Bruce's family. And that property now is worth millions of dollars. What had transpired, they were supposed to build a park on the community. That was the so-called reason for the whites wanting to buy this property, or buy it. I don't even know whether they even gave them any money for it. I'm not sure. But that was supposedly the reason they were going to build a park. But the park was never built. Decades went by, the park was never built. Finally, probably about 20 years before this recent event happened, they built, the city took over and they built a small park that was behind the actual property that the Willises owned. But it did become under the ownership of the city. And then I think they built some other city property on it. Again, the property is now worth millions of dollars. But Gavin Newsom of California, saw fit to take action to return the property to this family, the Bruce family. And again, we bring that point out about generational wealth, that is buying property and and seeing the value of it in the future, buying real estate and seeing future value of it. And I'm sure this family can just reach out and hug their ancestors right now if they could, because they made a step, although, discriminatory practices um, caused them to lose it at that time and not to get the benefits that they could have benefited over several years. Um, they the circumstances that were presented recently shows the benefit of owning and purchasing and owning real estate.
So I think that that's an awesome story that you're sharing with us, Diann. That also just gives you a perfect example of if you were to purchase property over time, it builds equity. And then at a later date, if you continue to pass it down generation over generation, it continues to accumulate equity, which means it increases in value. Um, and that's what you call part of your legacy.
Right.
That becomes part of your legacy. Or if you buy a piece of property, stay there for a number of years, maybe it would be 3 years or 5 years, and then turn around and sell it at a profit, that's called equity.
Right.
That was an unfortunate situation that this happened, but thank goodness for the governor who rectified that whole entire situation.
Right. And on the average, home property, I guess, I read that it appreciates every year. And most times it depreciates and not depreciates, but on the average, real estate appreciates 3 to 8% every year. So just sit there and calculate that every year over 10, 15, 20-year period, the value of that's going to be in your home. Your start out purchase price is your home could end up being 3 to 4 times more than what you purchased it for. And I could say the same thing for myself. I purchased my first property back in 1983, 87, I think it was. Purchased that first property in 87. I was in my early 20s when I did that. And today that property is completely paid for. And now I reap the benefits of having it be an Airbnb. And that Airbnb funds don't have to go to the bank. Those Airbnb funds, they go to the bank, but it goes to my account, not the banker's account. So again, and if I decide to hold on to this property, it's something that I could pass on to my family as a part of, I would say, generational wealth. So let's really get into real estate, and we're going to help you get into real estate and be more serious about it. And particularly our young people, because that's my passion. I really would like to get young people more interested in real estate. I think a lot of times when we get of age and we can move out of our parents' homes, we start talking, let's get an apartment.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. We're going to get my own apartment. And that's well and good. But we want to get you in the mindset when you may get that first apartment, but that's just going to be a temporary dwelling and for a short period of time, because we want to get you into your own home, because that's going to be beneficial to you.
Absolutely. I can't agree with you more. That is definitely a part of our mission as the lens on real estate, is to help demystify how do you make that transition from your parents' house, maybe to rent an apartment for a temporary amount of time, and then moving on to owning your own home. Even if you're not even sure as a young person if this is the area that you want to stay in, it still makes sense for you to make that kind of investment if you're going to be here for a number of years. And then again, like I said before, you can accumulate equity in that home, either sell that home or that becomes an investment property, as Miss Diann has done when she bought her property in the 80s. And then you can pass it on. So you can hold on to it and move on to the next thing as your career advances. Definitely for millennials. I know I'm the mother of some millennials, and they say to me that sometimes they are afraid because we had that crash. back in 2008. So they're a little bit concerned about that. So they believe that maybe renting versus buying would help them. But we can sit down as we continue to go through this podcast and explain kind of what happened at that time and what kind of fail safes that the government has put in place now, that we would not go back to that. Although I know COVID probably put a different kind of a strain on the real estate market, but those are some things that we're going to explore and try to make that easy to understand, kind of what happened there, so that you won't be afraid to build your generational wealth for yourself.
And the millennials aren't alone in having that sort of trepidation about the crash, because when this recent pandemic occurred, the COVID pandemic occurred, and the market just seems to have caught on fire, as we would say. It became an extreme seller's market, meaning that there were more buyers out there looking for homes, but there were no homes. The inventory was very, very low. So we had an exorbitant amount of buyers, but we did not have the homes. The inventory was quite low. So you had number of buyers bidding on one. And so it was very, very, it was nerve-wracking, I would say, for everybody. Good to have the buyers out there, but it wasn't easy getting a buyer into a home because you had so many people competing for the same house. So it wasn't necessarily an easy process. So that also, in getting back to the crash though, even realtors were even thinking, okay, we're going to look for a lot of short sales, a lot of foreclosures to come as a result of this super hot sellers market that was going on during the COVID pandemic. But that hasn't occurred. We have foreclosures, and maybe even some foreclosures, but nothing has occurred near what happened in 2008. And I mean, my thoughts about it, and I think I've heard this, is that, the government learned what the problems were, what caused those problems back in 2007, 2008. And I don't think they're going to let that happen again, because even at that time, a lot of these lenders, some of them went out of business. The banks were almost problematic. President Obama kind of saved a lot of the banks. So it's no way that type of situation is going to occur again. And hopefully not. But don't sit back. The time to buy, if you're ready to buy, if you have your criteria in order, which we'll talk to you about, we'll have people that will come on, our lenders come and talk to you what it takes to get ready and be prepared to buy a house. But if you're prepared, the time to buy is now. Don't wait. The time to buy is now.
Yeah. Don't be afraid. I know a lot of people are saying the interest rate. So that sometimes can be make people try to put it off. But you have to believe that during COVID was definitely just a perfect storm of circumstances where it was when everything shut down. People couldn't get supplies in, builders couldn't get supplies in, as well as people moving. Well, some of those people that lived in New York City, not to just pick on them, but as an example, who were going to work every day, and they were living in an 800 square foot apartment. But when they actually had to live in that 800 square foot apartment with their family, with their kids, and trying to work from home and doing the homeschooling, that 800 square foot apartment began to close in. So once they figured out that they could work anywhere, then it seemed like where paradise happened to be in Savannah, which, it's a little bit warmer weather, or the prices are cheaper than what they are in the city. A lot of people came in from other areas and swooped in and made some major purchases, which made it a little bit more difficult for people buying locally. But again, it still was not impossible. That type of situation is beginning to even out some. We definitely couldn't maintain that type of economy where there were interest rates of I think I sold a house that was the interest rate they got was 1.75.
Wow.
Even the lawyer said, "Oh my
Awesome.
gosh, hurry up and sign this paper before they change their minds." You know, because they had
Awesome.
excellent credit, they had money in the
Awesome.
bank, all those things. But there's no way that the economy as a whole could have sustained that type of interest rate.
Right.
So where we're going to kind of level out some of those things, I think we should be focusing a little bit more. Hopefully that home prices are going to come down some more than worrying about the actual interest rates.
Right.
But it has to get better over time because it's going to level out. Supplies are getting in a little bit better. Lumber is kind of stabilizing some. People are able to get windows in and different things that they were having trouble doing before. But again, those are some things that we're going to kind of do a deep dive and bring some subject matter experts in to kind of break those things down and make this an easier process. We have so many things that we can talk about, from terms that we use. I think Miss Diann used talking about eminent domain, talked about a seller's market. What does that look like? What that mean? I mean, because again, it's gonna swing back to a buyer's market before we know it.
And we're going to be showing you each week on our program. We're probably going to be showing you, not probably, but we probably should. We'll be showing you numbers, showing you trends. We're going to be talking about not only the national trends, our trends in Georgia, but trends in our community, Chatham County, Savannah. We'll be showing you the numbers. What does the inventory look like in Savannah, Chatham County, Richmond Hill, Guyton, all those areas that we serve in this community. So we'll be showing you those numbers, and it's always a good idea when you see numbers that they tell the facts. Numbers really don't lie. So we'll be showing you that so you can get an idea of which us as realtors, we have to kind of study those trends. So when we get our sellers, particularly our sellers, because when we have sellers want to list a property, and we want to be the agent that lists, we got to come in there educated in terms and having that discussion with that seller and discuss with them, how we're going to set the price, determine the price that your home should be listed at. So numbers and trends and that type of information is also very, very important. So we will be showing you the various trends as we go along, and you'll see that the real estate market is a dynamic market. So it's not steady, same. It's a dynamic market. There are changes in it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And Miss Diann is correct when she said we have to study those things. And that's a good sign of a good agent. Someone who actually has done the homework, done the research, looked at the comps in the area so that we can bring you some good answers. So we can be the subject matter expert in your community. So that's what makes a good real estate agent. Again, those are some of the things that we're going to help you decide. Hopefully you would pick us as your real estate agent. But if we're not in your area, although we sell anything in Georgia, we even can sell in South Carolina. As I tell a lot of people, I'll sell a doghouse. You got it for sale. We can figure out how we're going to sell it. But we're going to help you figure out how to pick a good agent so you will make a good decision about who to represent you.
Right. And speaking to our agents that might be watching us, our real estate agents, our real estate brokers, we certainly want to invite you to come on our program, Lens on Real Estate, and have a conversation with us and talk about your business, because we're not just here to promote ourselves, but we're here to promote those in the industry, because we want our community to know that we are experts too. We're not. There's not one set of experts out there. It's a variety of us that are in this industry and it's certainly capable to the highest level of serving our community. So please give us a call, and we will at the next programming we will have all of our contact information, how you can reach out to us or email us, phone us, that sort of thing. Reach out, because we certainly want to invite you on our program. Come on, we're ready to talk, and we want you to share in the benefit of being able to have a wide community watch this program and listen to this program and learn all about what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we covered a lot, Miss Diann, in terms of explaining kind of what we're all about, a little bit about ourselves, and just inviting you to come to tune in, tune in.
And we'll talk to again, going back to getting into the real estate industry, a little bit about how I jumped into it because I retired from the federal government. I worked for the federal government over 30 years. So I retired and moved back home. I had been away, moved back home and, was ready to do what I would always tell someone, what are you going to do when you retire? I said, well, what I want to do. And at that time, whatever was on my mind, it was certainly not real estate. But one of my siblings has property in Savannah, and he asked me to, okay, Diann, would you start get my rent money for me? I think I don't really, if you'll do it, that'll be good with me. And so I said, okay, I'll do it. I figured I'd just get the go and get the rent money and send it to him. And anyway, as I began to delve into information about it, because I'm one, if I take on something, I got to know about it. I got to research. So as I began to get into different aspects of the property management, I learned that in the state of Georgia, if you are going to manage the property of someone else, a property that's not yours, and you're going to get paid for it, because my brother was giving me the 10% like he would give a property manager. If you're going to do that and get paid for it, then they require that you have a real estate license. Didn't know that at the time, but I do know that for me, I'm going to dot my I, cross my T's. I didn't want any problems. So I decided to go ahead and get that real estate license. And by virtue of getting a license, I get to sell real estate. So that's pretty much how I got into it. And of course, Scott Realty Brokerage, Sabria Scott, she is the owner of Scott Realty Professionals, and she's family. And I was able to reach out to Sabria and set up my license, or hang my license. That's the term we call it in the industry.
Yeah.
Hang your shingle,
Yeah.
hang your shingle in that brokerage, because every new real estate agent has to hang their license with a broker. And Sabria is a broker and has been for a few years now. And so that's where I was able to hang my shingle. So that's how I kind of got into the industry. And I got to say, since I've been in the real estate industry, I really like it. It's very interesting. I kind of wished I had done it earlier, but I really like it. It's a lot to learn, and I enjoy every aspect of it.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way that you started. The way I got into real estate has always been something that I've been interested in. Mm-hmm. I have to say, even when I was a lot younger, on Sunday afternoons, that's one of the things we would do. My mom always loved going to open houses or looking at homes or driving through neighborhoods. That's what we would do on Sunday afternoons. So always kind of been involved or intrigued by it since I was much younger. But I've had a few careers, never thought about being a real estate agent. But when I got a little bit older, I was working at Gulfstream, and I was thinking like, well, my kids are all grown. They're moved out of the house. I need to do something else that's going to challenge me. And so I had a friend who was a mortgage lender, and he was like, oh, you have that kind of personality. You would make a really good real estate agent. You're honest. You try to be straightforward with people. You're smart. You do your research, you do your homework. He said, you should do that. I was like, okay. But that's a good idea. I thought I wanted something to challenge me. And the test is not easy, but I did enjoy studying for my real estate license, just like I enjoyed studying for my brokerage license as well. And then I became a real estate agent. I was working at Gulfstream, and I was kind of doing real estate kind of as my side hustle, but then it began to take over. So now I kind of do real estate full time. I definitely enjoy, and I definitely have a lot of first time home buyers, and I enjoy that because I am definitely a hand holder. because it can be, like we said before, it can be a little intimidating when you're first trying to start out. But I definitely try to communicate. Yeah. Communication is key in any type of relationship, and especially a business type relationship where money's going to exchange hands. I'm definitely a hand holder to get people through the process, and I really, really enjoy it.
Okay, good. So do I. Who are our clients? That's a question. Like Angie said, she has lots of buyer clients, and also seller. We both do. We both can assist in a client buying a property, and we can assist a client in selling a property. We can do both at the same time. It can be a bit touchy, but it can be done. I did that. My first simultaneous transaction. I had a client in Atlanta, Georgia. The client wanted to sell his house, and of course, they wanted to buy a home. They bought a new construction property, and pretty much the day of closing, we went to one closing attorney for the selling of the property, and then an hour or so later, we rushed across town to the other closing attorney that was handling the new construction, and he purchased the property. All that done in the same day. It can be done, and it has been done. So, but we do handle the buyer clients, seller clients. There are other aspects to real estate, not just single family homes, but there are going to be multifamily homes, which that's another thing you'll hear about. A lot of people, you hear pundits out there, or other people in real estate, they're talking a lot about getting our young people to also think about investing in multifamily homes. Because that's an avenue where you can live in the property yourself, and you can have the other two or one other resident in the property. That person is going to be paying you and paying your mortgage, where you can pretty much be living for free. But we also assist with purchasing and selling multifamily properties. We assist investors. We get a lot of people, you're talking about flipping houses. We do that as well. You're going to find it is a myriad of activities in real estate, and a lot of conversation when we bring on our lenders. We can bring on a multitude of lenders, and they each could talk about a different type of loan, jumbo loan, hard money lender, all that sort of stuff. So we will, we got a lot of information we're going to be sharing with our viewing and listening community. Hello again, listeners. Hope you're out there.
Miss Diann is correct. We do take care of residential. I've done commercial properties. I've also sold land for someone to build their dream home, but also to build commercial property. So also, like you said, investment property. I think we can do it all. We cover it all.
And anything, excuse me, Angie, but commercial is considered commercial, particularly a house, if it's 5 or more residents. A building. A building is considered commercial if it has 5 or more residences within it. 4 or less, it's multifamily, and it's not considered commercial. I believe that's the correct information there. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll be right back after we have this commercial break.
well, no,
Oh,
10 minutes.
hi.
We're back.
Yeah,
Back from our
absolutely.
commercial break.
So we're gonna kind of wind this up. In terms of, I think we've given you a lot of information that you hopefully can chew on, and hopefully will pique your interest to come back and see us when we begin our weekly show. And as you said, it was going to be on Mondays,
right? Mondays
at 6 p.m. Every week.
And we want to try to. We're probably going to begin our show at the beginning of the month. Could be December, but we want to do the beginning of the month because the format is going to be in something that hopefully our viewers will want to follow, because we're going to have a format in that on the first Monday of the month, we're going to maybe speak to real estate agents, real estate brokers, people that literally do what we do. And then the second month, we may talk to our lenders. Second week in that month, rather, we'll talk to maybe some lenders, closing attorney, someone else that services the real estate industry, because there are quite a few vendors that service the community. And the third month, we'll come up with, I don't know that we had it there, but we're going to have some specific subject matter for each week of every month. So
we're going to talk about terms and different things to kind of get you up to speed about when you hear the lingo. It's one of our goals is to kind of demystify purchasing or selling real estate as well. But we'll come up with different topics every week. We'll kind of keep it along the same line each week of the month, so you'll know what to expect. And you know when to come back and tune in with us.
And we may show some listings, because that's a part of what we do to sell homes. And got some listings that you want to present. Say our guests, real estate agents or brokers come on. We're going to allow them to present some listings for you to take a look at and know a little bit about our community. We're going to talk about our community too, and the various areas of the communities. So thank you. We certainly thank you for listening in, and we thank Our Black Media for asking us to take on this venture, because I noticed that it's a lot going on in ATL, Atlanta, Georgia, and you've got a lot of the agents and people there. They're doing great things. Not to say we are too. Well, we need to.
Well, don't forget about the SAV.
Yeah, we need to tell our town, the hostess city. Yeah. So that's what we're here to do, and we want to, be a viable resource for our community in the real estate industry. And again, the name of our program is Liz on Real Estate, and Angela E.
Angela
That's
E.
her moniker. Angela E. We thank you for joining this challenge. We're
gonna be on this journey together.
We appreciate you. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you on next Monday. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
like that.